Hello, people. I'm a little bit nervous about what I'm sharing tonight. Like, you want me to what? That's right, stars. Come on in. Oh, baby stars. Oh, honey, my regal cat. Oh, my regal cat. Yeah, I am like the crazy cat lady, the crazy psychic cat lady, actually. What are you doing? Is your bum in my face? Not really what I wanted. Hey? Don't step on the computer. That's all. Hello. I feel like I haven't been live for ages because I've been sorting some stuff out. Oh my god. Come on, can you decide what you're doing? You're gonna sit here with us, are you? He's literally just sitting here. All right, as always, I'm gonna share this. Are you gonna sit here? Okay. Fully just sit on my desk. Sure thing. Huh? You've been a bit smoochy lately, haven't you? All right. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about what I'm talking about tonight. Little bit nervous. Hi, beautifuls. Hello. If this is your first time to my live stream, please say hi. Let me know where you're from around the world. Would love to know where you're from. Tuning in around the world. Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Where are you in the world? Would love to know. All right. Just sharing this one more place and we are good to go. Oh, and I'm going to bring up the comments here. Seeing as I'm sitting inside today. 10 a.m. in England. Janine from Canberra, hello. Townsville, Queensland, yeah, so awesome. It is nighttime here. It's nighttime here too, of course. Of course. All right. So I wasn't going to go live tonight, but of course I don't follow the rules. I don't follow the rules, right? Oh my goodness. I don't follow the rules and I change everything all the freaking time. Hi, Tamsin and Catherine. Super lovely to have you here. Lee from Melbourne. So awesome. Oh, okay, stars, no worries. Sitting here. All right. Yeah, I'm live. You caught me live. Hey? All right, so what am I talking about? I feel like I got my ass kicked today. Oh my god, by spirit. Like I didn't, but the feeling was kind of interesting. And if you saw my stories, I went traipsing up some big hills. And mountains and hills are really healing for the heart, and I kind of like did it on purpose. And you got to do that. It's called flow. That's right. Breaking all the rules is actually called flow. Hi, Greg and Haley and Doreen. So lovely to have you all here. So I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I also do know what I'm talking about. And there's a few things that I want to talk about, and especially like, you know, when I say like the last 9 months has been the hardest 9 months of my life, like it has and it hasn't. Like when I really think about it, I'm like, you know, when I was pregnant with my daughter, that was pretty like challenging. And then, you know, like if I look over my life, I'm like, is now really the hardest time? Like, but this last 9 months has been unique on its own, of course. And what I've been birthing through is quite phenomenal. And I think I posted, was it last night? Because the eclipse is coming up in a couple of days. And I don't know, there's something going on with Jupiter as well. And Jupiter's all about expansion. And I feel like there's rapid expansion. I think as I explained it yesterday in the post, it's like this, like we're in this like rapid expansion, but we like feel like we're still stuck in a box or something. I don't know. I think I wrote something like that, right? And that's kind of what it feels like, yeah? It's kind of like we're like, yeah, but we're like, in a way, yeah? Yeah, Haley gets it. Yes, exactly, right? So it's really like this space around this expansion, but not. And it is, but it's not. And so I guess I just wanted to share a bit about what I've been going through. I know there's a lot of new people here that don't actually know me, don't really know my story. But these 9 months especially, and I'm specifically talking about 9 months because you might have heard me talk about the 9-month healing cycle, and the 9-month healing cycle is a very powerful cycle to work with. So I talk about the 18-month healing cycle, and the 9 months is obviously half of that, right? And as I always talk about, you know, women are gestating their baby for 9 to 10 months, you know, before they have their baby. And I feel like when we're birthing new realities, there's a 9 to 10 month birthing cycle that kind of like hits reality. And then there's an 18-month healing cycle, and there's all these pieces in between it, right? So painful. It can be painful. It can be painful. Yeah, totally feeling that. Yes, yes. This last 9 months has been pretty intense for a lot of people. The past like 5 months even has been really big as well. And like, I feel like the past 2 weeks for me has been a like, I want to say come back to reality space. And what I mean by that is, you know, I think I broke down with my team the other day, and I was like, I'm in this huge adjustment right now. Yeah. And I know, and when I talk about this 9 months, like it's 9 months since I've been in this house, and it's a really big deal. And you'll probably hear me talk about this for a little bit because I'm processing it, but it's a really massive portal. And it's got to do with my business, it's got to do with reality awareness expansion, and it's got to do with me separating from reality awareness and like all the pieces in between that. And I know that, you know, I know it doesn't sound that big or that bad for a lot of people because, well, I'm talking about my business, but ultimately my business is my life purpose. And, you know, it's interesting the things that come up. Like, I guarantee you, okay, I guarantee you that when you are on complete alignment with your life purpose, you will have people try and stop you. You will have people tear you down. You will have people react to your light, to your expansion. That will happen if you are in complete alignment. If you listen to those people, you are not going to fulfill your destiny. And you will be depressed and stuck and all the things. Now, expansion and birthing your life purpose doesn't mean that it's all love and light. Pretty much far from the truth. Yeah? There is as much darkness in the expansion as there is light. Because usually in that first 9 months when you're trying to change your reality is the hardest. And I'll say trying to change your reality. I'm like, no, when you are changing your reality, it's the hardest. It's the hardest. So I really love talking about this 9 and 18 month healing cycle. And like I said, there's so many pieces in between. But it's so supportive for yourself to really be conscious of when you're going through massive change, when you're healing and working through something huge, right? When you're changing your reality. Because we can go, oh, okay, cool, I'm at the 6 month point. Oh yeah, well that makes sense why it's all coming up again. And then when we look at the years, there's always like 6 years ago, 9 years ago, there's all like it expands in that too. So when you are going through something really heavy, it's really important to like check in. Like, has it been 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 18 months, 3 years? Like what's coming up for you? And even if you're not sure what's coming up for you, just have a little timeline check. Like, what was going on this time last year? What was going on? Like, you know, 9 years ago, 9 months ago, right? It's a big deal, and it should be really looked at like importantly and essentially when you're going through something. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're revisiting it. It doesn't mean that it's like dredging up the past. It just gives you an awesome standpoint to go, you know what? No wonder this is feeling doubly blah, 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 because this makes sense because I'm releasing the threads from that experience. Yeah? Yes, the adjustment, exactly right. So Leah says, I'm feeling it so bad today, it hit me. Yeah, the past, I want to say 24, 48 hours have been really intense for a lot of people, for sure. Vivian says it's been very hard. Yes, Tamsin said it's been nearly 9 months since I had another baby. I hear you on the adjustment. Exactly right. It is definitely an adjustment. Catherine says, I totally feel this. Thank you for the clarification. This is normal. It's 100% normal. It is so normal. And it is so important to be aware of, right? So what did I really want to come on and share about? And I say, you know, like it's been the hardest 9 months of my entire life. Like I literally broke down on Wednesday at my team meeting. I didn't feel like doing anything at the team meeting. Of course, I'm going to turn up to that. And, you know, I just like, you know, did what I had to do that day, of course, but I was a mess. And it was almost like for the past 2 weeks I've started to slow down into reality, and I don't know how to describe it any other way than that, because on Wednesday I really like reflected and I was like, because I came in my office and I haven't wanted to be in here. I've been like working on my laptop and blah, blah, blah. Now I did have a session with my mentor and, you know, and she, you know, removed the sitting at the computer codes, and I'm like, well, that's really helpful, but I actually have some work to do and I actually don't want to be in my office. And so, you know, it's good. I've been like fully restructuring the way I work, which is awesome. That's the whole freaking point of what's happened since December for me in my reality, is because, you know, and the thing that I do want to talk about is that a lot of people, not a lot of people, there's like some people that are like freaking out about my prices and stuff. And I'm like, man, you have no idea. You have no idea. Number one, what I've been through. You have no idea what I went through to build to get to the level that I'm at now. And it's so interesting because my team, Jade, forwarded this email, and she's like, I'll let you respond to this one. And this woman was like gawking at my prices for Life Purpose Accelerator. And I'm like, she's like, 20 million lifetime access? Like, ha ha ha, like what is this? My Ashisha teacher is like rolling in his grave. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. Like for me, I'm like, it's so interesting, right? That people get so uncomfortable with money. Now I want to tell you that there's a piece here that I've been doing this spiritual work, living it, breathing it. This is all I do for a living, and I have for a long time. I want to tell you one little thing. There's lots of things actually. Number one, we live in a current reality that lives on money. In any way, shape, or form, that is the exchange in this timeline right now on this earth. There is no way that you can change the world if you don't have your money shit sorted. There is also a big piece to this. You can feel, because you're also highly intuitive, you can feel when somebody is selling something or doing something for money out of lack, fear, and scarcity. And you can also feel when somebody is charging something or selling something out of pure service. There is a complete different feeling. For example, that 20 million, most people wouldn't even know what to do with that. I'm lucky that I have a bookkeeper that has $1 billion company mindset, because that's where reality awareness is going. This isn't about buying the mansion and being able to fly on the private jet and sail on the super yacht, even though that's my heart and soul. Because with that level of money, that's what changes the world. This is the current reality that we live in. Now, I've been working with my mentor for 3 years now. And she posted a little while ago, her company just hit 15 million. One of her companies, actually. Just one. Just one. If you are not comfortable with money, you are never going to get out of the draining, energetic, like darkness. You're not going to be able to sort your shit out. You're not going to be able to pay your bills, but you're also not going to be able to save the world. And I'm not talking about doing a distance healing here and there and having 1 or 2 clients and thinking that you're doing a good thing with your spiritual work. Now, I know that might sound a little bit harsh because everybody needs to start somewhere. But if you're going to rip other people with that, like, oh my God, 20 million, my yeehish, grandma, I'm like, what the fuck are all these names? I'm sorry. But like, come back to reality, because the reality is that this world works on money. And if you do not have your money shit sorted, your investments sorted, let alone your bills, like that's just a no-brainer. But if you do not have that on point, there's no way that you can even save yourself, let alone the world. Reality Awareness has a big vision. This past 9 months has been the hardest time of my life ever, because I had to let go of the wheel. I had a dream last Saturday. I had 2 dreams actually. One I won't talk about, but I woke up from a dream and I was on another road trip in my car. If you guys know me, I love road trips. And I even been planning some. And I watch people on their stories who are on road trips all the time because I freaking love it. And in my dream, I was on a road trip and I was coming down this beautiful windy hill and there was like all these like autumn leaves, you know, like, I don't know, we don't really have that here in Australia. Well, maybe in some places. Where I live, we don't really have all the autumn leaves that fall on the ground and, you know, whoosh by when you drive through them or whatever. Like, I don't know, where I live, we don't really have that. But you know how you see that on the movies? And so like driving through and all the like, you know, autumn leaves are whooshing through like this beautiful like lush forest thing, whatever. And my car just stopped. Like my current car that I have just stopped. I was driving and like I was the driver, you know, and that's good for me because in a dream, if somebody else is driving the car, well, you're not really taking the reins of your life and driving your life sort of thing, right? And I was driving, but my car just stopped. Like, not just like came to a halt, like it just slowed down, like it stopped. I was like, what the fuck's going on with my car in my dream? And I'm like pulling over because it's slowing down, just stop, like it wouldn't go. And I like picked up my phone and I'm like, fuck, there's no reception. I'm like, fuck. And I like got out of the car and like in the middle of nowhere, right, with all these beautiful trees and like, it was like a lake or something, I don't know. It felt like I was in America, but I'm in Australia. And then I got out, and then as soon as I got out, this couple like had pulled up behind me, and it was like I knew them. They weren't following me, but all of a sudden they're there. And then I woke up, and it was like, okay, like there's people right there to help me. Like I'm fully supported, like, you know what I mean? But it was like, take your hands off the fucking wheel, Hannah, and just stop. Just stop. Like, and that was Saturday, and it's been hard for me to stop. And I don't mean because like, oh, I need to like keep busy and to be successful and, you know, this drive and like, that's not where it's coming from. It's that's where and how I did build my business, because the first 18 months I was like, yeah, this like cruisy, like figuring it out. And then all of a sudden after 18 months, there's that birthing portal again, guys. Like I've been doing this for 5 years now. Like it's so significant. It was like after 18 months, it was like, woof, got so busy with clients. Like, and to be honest, and I said this on my stories, like my prices are the way that they are because I get too busy having my prices low and I burn out. And I ain't gonna save the world, and reality awareness is not gonna function yet on its own without me doing the creative thing that reality awareness gifted to me and gave me that, what is it, the service or the, I don't know what the word is, like reality awareness came to me, they gifted that to me to be able to be of service. So that's why my prices are the way that they are. But they're also that, especially the 20 million, like lifetime access, like people gawk at that, and I'm fully owning that. I work with people who run empire dynasties in this lifetime that are here to change the world, that are here to bring back that core heart space that will change the world. the leaders, the entrepreneurs, the healers that are willing to work on their shit. Because I guarantee you, you will not be a good healer if you haven't healed your money stuff. It is base chakra, and base chakra is where your life purpose is. When I came to my mentor 3 years ago, I said to her, I was like, the first thing I asked her, I was like, tell me what I'm missing. Help me figure out this money stuff. Like, she's a multi-millionaire. Like, she teaches the bridge of spirituality and money. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I want to change the world, but with my current money stuff, that ain't gonna happen. Because if you're in reality about life, guys, money is the thing that brings you what does money bring you? Let me know. What does money bring you? Thanks, guys. Let me know. I'm going to read these comments out while I'm asking you. What does money bring you? So nice to have you here, Danny. Oh my goodness. Danny's here. Alison says, felt like I've been in a quantum leap. Yes, it's exactly. There's been a big jump, right? There's been a big jump for a lot of people. And then there's a lot of people who are just waking up on their spiritual journey. Definitely two worlds here in a way, right? Yeah, a lot of vivid dreams. I've been having lots of vivid dreams, and one of them was that. I'm not even like saying the other thing, that's for sure, right? So Lee says, I'm passing through a 9-year portal. It's so big, the purge is happening. Honestly, it's so important to be aware of. Like, it really, really is. Yeah, Haley said, I've been a hermit for 2 weeks. Yep, me too. The first day I felt okay. Yeah, I was still, I'd say teary, but I purposely did a lot of inner work today, physical stuff, like cleaning out enemas, all of that. So yeah. Yeah, Leah says, in 9 days, it'll be 30 since starting the clear and activate meditations. Didn't realize how much would come up. Honestly, that's where you start, because seriously, that is like the biggest piece, right? Like, they do bring up a lot. If you can't work with me at this point yet, start with the clear and activate pack. There's a reason why we clear out all that stuff, because then you've got a clear slate to start rewriting what you want. Yeah, including money. Danny says, worth every penny you are. Thank you. I believe I am too, and that's the thing. Like, when you think about 20 million, I'm like, that's just one client. Like, that's, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know what to do with 100,000, let alone 20 million. But like, actually having that billionaire mindset, which has always been where it's been for me, like ever since day dot, like since I was 6 years old, like that's when I remember that, you know what I mean? Like, and there's a thing about your childhood, right? Now, I didn't grow up with money. I didn't grow up spiritual. I didn't grow up with any of that, but that there has always been there for me with that. I don't know why. And it's not about the super yachts, even though I would love to be on a super yacht, right? But it's not that. It's like, imagine what you could do with 20 million, let alone more than that. Like, what about 100 million? Like, do you really let yourself even expand into that? Because this is where we change the world. Of course, we're going to help awaken people by doing a distance healing here and there. I started with that. And psychic readings, of course. And I still do that today. We all have to start somewhere. But when you have a reaction to the thing that's actually going to help support you, give you the freedom to do the things you know will change the world, where are you coming from? Are you staying stuck in that scarcity and lack? Or are you really letting your soul expand into that level where you know you're meant to be, because your soul knows. Your soul knows. Anyone who knows me from 5 years ago when I used to come on live stream, all I used to talk about is super yachts and like private jets and all of that. And it's not about that. It's not about a status quo. Do you know what that is? It's the lifestyle and the freedom. I am like the most freedom loving person. That's why you'll see me change things all the time. I don't like to be locked into anything. I'm a 5. I'm a number of change, right? I change things all the time. Why? Because I want the freedom. I don't like being locked in a box. Just ask any of my exes. Or anyone, even my family, that will tell you. That's why I got in a car when I was 18 and drove across Australia and never went back. You ain't gonna lock me down. That's why I got in a car when I knew lockdown was coming last year and drove on the road for 5 months. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking lock down in suburbia. Are you kidding me? Dreaming. That's what a psychic vision is for, right? So you can have the freedom to like be one step ahead of everything and help change the world at the same time. Yes. Tamsin says, sounds like the universe wants you to get even more comfortable with a wave of more abundance coming in. Yeah, this is the thing, right? Lee says, so true, got to fall in love with the money vibes. Like we do. I think it's like, yeah, Hector says, yes, it is very different, the energies for when it is for service or when it is for money. You can feel it with people. You can, like 100%. You can feel if they're desperate for money, or you can feel if it is genuinely soul aligned service space. You can feel that. You can definitely feel that. Yeah? Money is freedom. Plain and simply, it is. I think what I was going to say is like there's, I don't know what studies. You know, if you look at any relationship problems, of course there's lots of different problems, but a lot of them are about money and the stress of money and the stress of running a household and the stress of all of that. Always comes back to that inner way. Yeah? Hayley says, to me, money brings opportunity, freedom, security, absolutely wonderful. Is absolutely wonderful. Exactly, right? If you don't fall in love with money, how is money going to fall in love with you? Money's going to be repelled by you. Shit, this is ridiculously on point. Kylie says, yes, it's been 5 years since I was in a serious addiction and hit rock bottom and chose life, not zombie being, tested big time, but now in flow with the sea instead of fighter. It does take time. It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes commitment, right? For sure. So Hayley says, oh, that reminds me of the hill we used to drive down heading into Wollongong, heading to Sydney. It was my favorite bit of the road of that stage of life. Yeah, that's that, like the dream. Oh my God, the dream. I was like, right. And I've been in this big recalibration. I'm like, well, how does reality awareness run if I'm not there, right? But that's what I've been working in the expansion of as well. Like that is literally, you know, like when I changed reality awareness to a company from Soul Trader, and this is a thing too that's been irking me lately, like I just screw my face up and I'm like, what? Like some people email me sometimes and they're like, oh, I hope this is a real company and like you better have a tax file number and you better, I'm like, what? I'm like, I've been running a business since 2009 and I've been running a company since 2019. Do you think someone who continues to grow their business doesn't know or has training or like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, who starts a company and doesn't know what to do? I mean, I didn't know what to do, but I learned what to do along the way. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's like not a real company, guys. Like, yeah, I'm just, no. And it's the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. It just makes me laugh and screw up my face. And I'm like, if you're going to change the world, number one, you need money, right? And number two, you need to heal your money stuff. You need to release the fear and execution of being persecuted as a witch. Like, that's huge. And actually, that energy's been in the air the past couple of days, maybe the past week. The 1600, 1642, like the witch hunt stuff, like that's been really strong. And actually, I saw a post come up, I didn't read it, and I feel like something big is coming for June. Now, in June last year was when, like, I can't remember, I think, what's his name? The Leo King astrologer. He said back in 2019, he did an astrological forecast for 2020. And he said in the middle of 2020, there was an astrological lineup that hasn't occurred since the 1600s, since mid 1600s or 1650 or 1640 or something, he said like that. And he said back then, that's when the peak of the witch hunts were there. And I Googled something about it, and that's when some Parliament thing got lodged, and that's what our society has been running on ever since. And I'm covered in goosebumps as I say this. Everything that's happening now is like that veil for that delusional illusion has been lifted. Like that's what's going on now. And so this is interesting. The witch hunt energy has been really strong the last week, and I'm actually really freaking excited about what's coming in November, guys. Oh my God, you'll want to be in Australia. I'm just saying that, like, not just putting something in the air, but I'm like, the in-person stuff is starting in November. So if you're looking to travel, well, I'm like, well, you know, people are like, we can't travel. And I'm like, there's always a way. Anyway, I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So talking about witches, and I got really excited about what's being grounded here behind the scenes with my team. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah, the witch hunt stuff is being lifted at the moment, right? So there's a lot of like healing, persecution, and execution. But one thing I will guarantee you is that when you step into complete alignment and you go, whoop, there's the compass, like lock in, you're like, oh, here we go. You will have people try and shut you down. And if you listen to them, you will not fulfill your destiny. Yeah? No matter what it is about. Yeah? Yes, you caught the live. So money, yeah. So money, I asked you guys, what does money bring? So money brings real change. It has to be taught to influential cooperate life members. Someone's got to do it. Exactly, right? Like it has... Honestly, like I see a lot of spiritual people, they can't even freaking feed themselves, let alone pay their rent. They're like living out of nothing and off nothing. It's like, man, how do you expect to change the world? Like ultimately, like, and they're like harping on about like, let's like, you know, like live in like our heart space and everyone come back to this. And I'm like, yeah, so on practical terms, how are we going to like change the world to actually start living like that again? Or like wake people up, like we're just gonna go around hugging each other. And I mean, like that helps, right? But when we look at the grand scale of the freaking mess that this world is in, I'm like, have you really thought about like practicalities of changing like 8 billion people on the planet to like change the world? Like, hello, like, you know, I'm just like, so anyway, I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And awakening the consciousness of humanity. Anyway, money brings freedom from stress. Yeah, and imagine if everyone wasn't working for money and on the treadmill, right? And no stress, then what would we do with our time? Oh, we would like live our life purpose and it would all be in bliss again, like, or something like that, right? We would all be doing our creative pursuits and following our heart and blah, 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 right? But to shift that, it does start with you. And that's what I've been doing in the past 3 years, working with my mentor. I'm like, okay, like I understand the spiritual stuff. So how do I work this money stuff out? Because we need that. If you're going to grow a company that's going to change the world, like you need to have that stuff clear, sorted. You need to have your triggers like sorted out, let alone your vision about the practicalities of how that's even going to work. Yeah, but maybe some people are just not born for it. But I work with the people who are born for it. I work with the people who do have that vision, who are clear. Now, I'm more than willing to teach and be there and support people who are willing to work on their money stuff. Because when I tell you what, if you want to do personal development work, if you really want to like grow spiritually, I'm like, work on your money stuff and see what comes up. Because there is so much gold in there. Money gives the freedom and the ability to choose. Exactly. If you had all the money that you needed and much, much more and lived on a surplus of money every day, would you be doing the same things you're doing every day? 99% of people would probably say no. Why? Because I work with the 1% and the 1%, and it's people like us that are not in that, right? We choose to create a reality. That means working on our money stuff. That means working on all the pieces, past life stuff. Like, you know, to be a really good healer, you must be good with all aspects of reality, right? So it was funny because that post, I don't know if you saw me post before. What did I say? Because she was like, I don't know, I didn't really go into the whole email, but it was like bagging me up. And as always, I just reply from like whatever naturally comes out. And at the end, I said, spirit doesn't get offended at human behavior, only ego does that. Because she was saying how much, she didn't use the word ego, but she's like, my Yisha, like, spiritual guide or whatever the fuck it was, like, would be rolling in his grave, and I'm like, man, like, I don't know about that, right? Exactly, Hector, just like you. That's why I work with you. That's why you are in the inner circle. Yes, you work with people that has the mindset and will change the world. Exactly. And you're already doing it. Like, that's exactly the people that I work with, right? Exactly. So money brings freedom from stress. Yes. Money brings change and to help all you want to help. Exactly. Who wouldn't, like, be excited about, like, these are the little things, right? And by the way, too, it's so interesting, and I just need to say this, like, the millionaires that I have met in person and online are, like, the kindest people in the world. And I always, like, kind of laugh or just, I don't know, when people bag out rich people, and I'm like, man, you have no idea who they donate to. You have no idea what they do behind the scenes. Like, I know someone that lives reasonably close to here, and, well, I don't know them, but I know someone who knows directly them, and told me that they donated a large amount of money, right? A large amount of money to the homeless charity thing, like in Noosa here. So Noosa, if you know, Noosa on the Sunshine Coast, it is very, it's very well off, right? Wouldn't get a house for under $1 million, I doubt, in Noosa. Haven't looked, but I'm sure, right? I think that would be, like, even too low, right? And the amount of homelessness that's actually in Noosa that's hidden is very interesting, right? But, you know, like, someone who's very well off donated a large amount of money to go and, like, sort it out and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, you have no idea. And it's funny when people say similar things to me, or they bag me out or whatever, they're ripping me apart. I'm like, just to myself, I'm like, you have no idea who I donated to, what charity I donate to, where my vision is, who I help online. Like, you know, like, spirit guides me. And even though I charge money, I also don't charge, because when spirit gives me the nudge, I don't. Right? And you have no idea what I'm doing behind the scenes and expanding into different areas and different companies. That's not just reality awareness, because there is so much more. And if you can imagine, like, who wouldn't enjoy having everything completely sorted in their life? That you can go to the supermarket, although maybe at that point you wouldn't be going to the supermarket, you would have someone doing that for you. But imagine Wealth Whispers, oh my God, I love this. I always imagine going to the supermarket and paying for the people's food, or, like, choosing who you go to, what, like, you know, aisle you go to pay for the person's groceries. You have no idea what wealthy people do behind the scenes. Your reaction to them is your own money stuff, is your soul giving you this beautiful light of expansion, going, check this out. And you're like, no! And so money's like, okay. And also spirit's like, okay. And your intuition's like, whoop. And you wonder why you're depressed, lethargic, don't have any energy, flattened, why your business is not working. Trust me, I've been there. I've been there, because we all start somewhere. And I am also showing you what you can shift through, but it takes dedication, work, commitment, being surrounded by people who are where you want to be. I would not be where I am today without surrounding myself with millionaires and paying the price to be around them. Like, environment is everything. I've paid like $8,000 to stay in a house it was supposed to be 2 weeks. It was like 5 days it ended up being, for a long story short, to be in the environment around those people. There is something that happens when we're in that space. Those times that I've invested big is when it shifted me the most. Not from, you know, the strategy they gave me or the thing that they said, but from being in their energy, from being in their environment. Proximity is so powerful. Exactly. That is why I work with the people that I work with, the people who are empire, dynasty builders, and destroyers, I want to say, in this lifetime. That is why. Yes. Oksana, just waking up for my journey. Yes. This is never too early to start. Never too late, never too early to start on money mindset, I tell you what. Because I have grown more working on my money stuff than just in spiritual stuff. Like, I don't know, it's a thing, right? It's definitely a thing. So I have a lot of respect for people who do the work with that, because I'm like, what it takes to get there, right? It's big. So money is power. Yeah, interesting, right? Yes, if you believe that. Money can be power, and power can be empowered or it can be disempowering. And what you actually believe about power itself is also where the tone of money comes from with that, yeah? Money brings the ability to grow, give, and receive. Yes, exactly right. We can give more and actually help more people when we allow ourselves to receive more, for sure, for sure. Hey Nelly, it's been a long time. Yes, it has. And you made a live. So awesome to have you here. Oh, I miss our classes. Yep, in-person stuff's coming. It's coming. So Greg says, I've only recently in the last 12 months had a healthier relationship with money. Yep, secretly saving away from the banks. Yes, awesome. And it has brought in more. Honestly, if you want more money, start focusing on money. Start looking at your money. Like, that is the number one place to do. Track your money. Like, even if you don't have much coming in, or it's like comes in once a month, like, you should be tracking your money, because as you know, whatever we focus on, so even if it's like debt, or it's like, it's still money. It's still money. And when you're focusing on it daily, what does the universe hear? Oh, you're focusing on this. Oh, what happens? Yeah. So it's awesome that you've been working on that, Greg. Hector says, money allows me to do many things to help others and to be in peace with no worries and then grow. Exactly. Exactly. We grow with money. We also grow without money. But when we can grow with money, right? Sometimes we start without money and we grow with money. That's when our life purpose, I want to say life purpose really kicks into gear. Like, we can do a lot more with our life purpose. I tell you what. I bet you there's a lot of things that you wish you could be doing right now, but you can't because of money. That's just an excuse, by the way. I invested in my mentor when I didn't know how I was going to pay the rest. I was probably earning, I would have been earning less than $2,000 a month at that time. And it was like a huge investment, and I just paid the payment plan, and I wouldn't have, you should be investing more, even when you don't have it. And that might be like, it's got to be in alignment though. If it's not a big yes for you, don't do it. But if you know you have to take that leap of faith, it's like, it's all investments, all investments. Tamara's so freaking excited. I know. I know. $1 billion mindset for a $1 billion company. Fucking oath. It all begins with mindset. And then everything else catches up. Kylie says, yes, my witch has come out big time. It totally has been huge of having many past life experiences. Yeah, there's a lot of past life stuff coming up for sure. It's definitely all of that. I'm getting back into my witch goddess soulness. Yeah, and I feel like, so this eclipse next week is going to be like, I feel like a portal opens. And I know in the post yesterday, I said like, we're tying up all the tail ends. And yeah, we are, because a whole new energy starts. And I think I might have said like, even like in June, it'll be like a whole new reality. So yeah, there's a lot of like witch hunt stuff, and I was sort of saying about this time last year is like, has tie-ins to the 1600s, and there's something about the June June energy. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that June-July portal, and like with the eclipse right now, like there's some, coming in goosebumps, there's some big life changes coming. Yeah, big life changes. So Christine says luck. I'm not sure what luck is. Yes, there was 22 watching. Yes. Emma's here. Wealth Whispers. I freaking love that. I love that so much. Lee says, so true. The people I know that make millions are absolutely the most generous and real people. The people doing the bagging out have some serious work to do. Exactly, right? Like, honestly, the kindest people in the world that I've met are the multimillionaires. Like, all the people with money, you know, like big time. Yes. The kindest, biggest hearts, just, yeah. And this is the thing, right? When you look at that, you know, and of course there's bad, evil people in the world, right? But when we look at majority, they have the kindest, biggest hearts. And imagine if everyone worked on their money stuff to be able to receive more, because no matter your level of income or your job that is like capped you at a certain thing, like, no, that's not true. You're the only one that caps you in that, because money comes from all different directions and all different avenues in all different time spaces. In my reality now, I am open and receptive to receiving money all the time. That's a reality you create. You with your job is like stuck in this like tiny little thread compared to this whole plethora of what the universe has right here for you, right? Like, it's a big deal. Haley says, my old boss is such a beautiful person. He paid for my whole family to stay up with me in Brisbane for 3 months during my transplant, just so we didn't have to worry about that part of it. Exactly. All these examples, guys. If you wanted to start changing your mindset, start looking at these examples. These are like real life examples that you're hearing right now, and this can start to rewire and rewrite your reality around money, around people who have money. Because if you think badly of people who have money, that's actually how you feel about yourself when you have money. So if you want to work and change that, right, you might be like, oh, I'll be like the kindest person ever. It's like, well, why are you judging them for that? You know, it's like that 3 fingers, the shadow work stuff. By the way, want to increase money, work with the shadow meditation, talk into money, see what it says to you for every day for a month, and watch your reality shift around money. Did you just hear that tool? You want to be using that. That is just one small example of things he does because he can, and doing it without making a big fanfare about it. Exactly, right? It's just like who he is. Catherine says, yes, because giving is more rewarding than receiving. That's what I've been feeling. Yes, I would love to be in a position to be able to help so many animals and people. You know what charities I donate to, right? Yeah. Proximity is so powerful. Exactly. Yeah, I know I said that before, but I'm saying it again because it is like, that's the thing that's up-leveled me the most. Like, out of all the things, like, of course I journal and I've created a company and I'm learning stuff and I'm growing and I'm doing the work and blah, 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 blah. But the things that have like accelerated me and like quantum leaped me is working with people, whether it's online and working with mentors like my mentor, and I've worked with other mentors as well, or actually in person. Like, that has propelled me exponentially. Like, and I will always pay for that 100% because I know it is an investment that takes me to the next level, like 50,000 times faster. 100%. Yeah. There is the next 2 weeks. Yes, going to be intense energy for sure. Money brings luck. I think that you create your own luck no matter what financial position that you're in, is my beliefs around that. I think that that thing around money brings luck is because when we're focusing on it, let alone when, and like we have it there, whether we're just focusing on it and we're doing our money tracking and we're building our wealth, we're focusing on it every day, right? Money brings luck because you are focusing on it. You're focusing on it. It's a natural law for it to grow. Yeah. Gayen says, I love money. I've been treasuring it, been coming in without effort. Exactly. This is so good. Look at these belief systems here. The more I give, the more I receive, and I'm feeling really overwhelmed, anxious, all the emotions, but no big appetite. Does it mean the sacral energy cleanse has started? I know it's a different topic. Well, it's actually not a different topic, because our sacral chakra, right, is where we house all these things. Now, if you think of the big Buddha contentment, right, the big Buddha belly, like, is content, right? And it's interesting because the sacral chakra is just above the base chakra, and the base chakra is where your life purpose, sexuality, finances, all those things are. So when we clean out our womb, and this is where, like, you know, if we just focus on money and we're not doing the energetic work to clear out our traumas and all that sort of thing, well, it's not, I want to say it's not going to work, because of course it can work, because anything can work if you force it enough, right? Anything can. But are you doing it from a place of, like, you know, I want to say, like, running away from the trauma, which is what I've done for a long time, and this huge recalibration that I've been going through in the past 9 months? That's where this shift has come in, and that's why I'm like, it's been the hardest thing ever. And then my dream, it was like, take your hands off the damn fucking wheel, Hannah, because the car's going to stop anyway. It's like, stop. I was like, okay, so how does my business run if I'm not running it? Yeah. But it's so important to clear out the traumas in our body. And it's so interesting you talk about the sacral energy, because we hold a lot of trauma in our sacral, in our generational womb space, right? So this is why both is so important. And, you know, the one thing that I teach in Trust the Intuition, and I'm like, if you want to be a good healer, you must be working on your money stuff. Like, it's so important, because, you know, you have to have an exchange for your work. And yes, there's a transition from free to paid, and we talk about all of that, because that's really important. It comes down to boundaries. It comes down to your worth and actually feeling comfortable receiving it, which can stem back into past life trauma from being a witch, or being persecuted for receiving, or for even just having your gift. Like, there's so much in that. We work on all of that in Trust Intuition, by the way, and that is coming up real soon. The doors will be opening very soon for that. So that is where you can become a certified intuitive healer. But we cover all this stuff in there, because, like, you're not going to make it in the world. You're going to burn out. You're going to feel like everyone is, like, pulling at your energy, and, you know, and you're giving more than you're receiving, and then you burn out and you want to walk away from the whole damn thing. And many people do. And this is where I said, if you don't actually work on your money stuff, right, and if you let those words, or you let people bring you down, because not only are you burning out from, you know, not receiving, you know, the right energy exchange for your gift, and for actually running it as a business rather than just for free. And like I said, there is a transition from free to paid for sure. That is like the biggest learning you ever freaking work through ever, and walk through for sure, as part of your life purpose. Like, trust me, I know. But when you can actually, like, look at this, and this comes back to exactly what I said at the start, right? Around, like, if you let the naysayers talk you out of stop doing this psychic shit, or stop doing this, or stop, why are you doing that, like, and bust down your big dreams, I guarantee you will not fulfill your life purpose and your destiny, and you will have health issues because you're getting sick, because you're not in alignment with your life purpose. Like, it's huge. Yeah? It's really, really huge. So when you say here too, you say, the more I give, the more I receive, but I'm feeling really anxious, overwhelmed, and, you know, all of those emotions, right? So in the sense of, like, well, are you giving more than you can actually receive, or are you giving more than you've actually got? Because then you're definitely going to be running on empty, right? So that, yeah, that is a big topic. But it's so important to work with that stuff. Hector says, I know also of money people and not necessarily kind people. Exactly. For me, the kindness comes from other vectors, but someone with the correct mindset and attracting money changes. So attracting money changes, or change. Because yeah, there's definitely both sides of the coin for sure with everything, right? And it's like looking at, you know, do those people who are bad in the world, are they your main influence? Is that where you got those belief systems from? Because that's where the shift comes, and really working on that underside of, like, what's going on there. Yeah, you felt that 100% exactly right. Yeah, it's so important. And that's why, like, working with the shadow meditation, try it every day for 30 days. It's only a short meditation. Be interesting to see what money has to tell you, what money has to say to you. What else surfaces from that? Like, it's a big one. Be prepared for change. That's all. Like, little disclaimer, don't do it if you don't want to change your reality. I'm just saying. Just saying. Hi, Sean. Sian. Oh my goodness. I think I'm just gonna call you both names all the time. No, that's so bad. Oh my goodness. Why do I always do that? I think that, I don't know, gonna have to work on that one. Oh my goodness. Definitely gonna have to work on that. Oh, I'm really excited. Actually, we've got our Transcendence Reality Society, Reality Gateway live in there tomorrow. Sean, see? Fuck's sake. Get it right, Hannah, for fuck's sake. Oh my goodness. All right. So this week with this expansion, and this is like, you know, I've had that dream, and like I think too, because my team, and this is what I broke down on Wednesday in my team meeting. I'm like holding this team meeting, I'm breaking down crying. I'm like, come on woman, hold it together, in a sense, because, you know, like that dream came and like my team has really got the handle on it now. I'm like, cool, you know, and this is also the breakdown on Wednesday too. Like I actually stopped, got out of the car. I stopped and I guess reflected, but it was the first time I had space to reflect. And when I actually looked at that, I was like, it's not that I've been keeping busy for busy's sake. Like it's taken me a lot to like film everything, to like upload and give it to my team and then make sure they understand how to do it, and they're picking it up like wildfire. Of course, that's why they're on my team. And then just like they're on fire, they're just going with it now. And you know, and that's been probably the past 4 to 6 weeks that I've been doing that. And then when I looked back, it was like we released Transcendence Reality Society, which was just massive and huge. And that's the inner circle for reality awareness. And this is where I got really clear that it's like, you know, reality awareness inner circle is Transcendence Reality Society, and you get access to all of reality awareness content except for Trust Intuition, unless you're in Laramar Access. And then there's the inner circle with me. And it's interesting because in the liquid crystals, reality awareness actually has 2 life purpose pathways. And it's interesting because Jade, and I was looking at it when I was like doing all this research and, you know, and processing, and, you know, it came to me to look at that stuff, right? And I typed it into like how to, your life purpose crystals, you could type in your name. And I typed in reality awareness and it has 2 life purpose pathways. And I was like, you know, and I was looking at that because I just got clear, this is actually a couple weeks ago, I got clear that reality awareness inner circle is Transcendence Reality Society, and then you can work with me in the inner circle, which obviously you still get access to all of that, but you also get access to me, whereas here you just get access to the content and the trainings and the stuff, of course. And it was like a really big shift because February 2 years ago, 2019, 20, 21, yeah, it's going on 3 years. Oh my God, it's 3 years. I just skipped 2020. Did you see that? 2020 was just not there. Oh my God. Right. Okay, coming back. So it's been, I didn't realize that in February, it was 3 years. See, this is the freaking timeline portal thing again. I didn't realize at the time. No wonder it was so freaking dark for me. In February, it was 3 years since I changed reality awareness to a company. That was so big for me because going from sole trader that I'd been since 2009, where everything was kind of just merged in, it was just me, to moving it to a company, it's an entirely different structure, entirely different energetic structure, entirely different like tax structure and paying wages, and like the whole thing is different. Now I didn't really know, I just knew I needed to change it to a company, and then I'm like, what's happening here? Of course I learn all the ropes and my accountant helps me and blah, 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 blah. Like, of course I'll learn everything I need to learn. But, you know, and I sent to Dad a couple of years ago with it. I was just like, Dad, if someone had told me, I wouldn't have done it. And I was like, actually, that's not true. I would have actually done it more because someone told me not to do it. But at the same time, it's been the best thing. But at the same time, you know, my accountant kept saying to me, like, no, you can't just draw out of the company account now, because from a sole trader account, it was all kind of combined and I just, you know, took whatever I needed or paid whatever or whatever. But when I moved to company, it was a whole different financial structure, and I can't just put everything on the company like I would or sole trade. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just like, whoa, what? Like, some things I could claim, some things I couldn't. Had to actually pay myself a wage, and those things for my personal life I had to use, not on the company. Like, it was like a breakup for me in reality awareness. Like, that's how it felt. And it was also a restructure for me with the masculine, because for me, reality awareness, like my company feels like the masculine, because it provides financially in a way, right? And I know that might be a real, like, what's the word? what's the word? Like an old school belief system that the man is the financial provider. Like, do you know what I mean? But just on an energetic level, the income coming in, supporting me, that is a masculine energy, right? So it was like me like doing the whole relationship between me and the masculine, and that's what it technically has been, I reckon. But I didn't realize that in February this year it was 3 years. And so I'm like, and I only realized that the other day. And then I looked back and I was like, wow, for the past 6 weeks, I've been training my team. Like all my spare time has been going into that. Well, and I got to go surfing a little bit, but it was like really tight. But I'm like, I can do it now. I have my team. I'm like, I can do this. But anyway, so I'm still like, okay, I've got my hands on the wheel, right? Because I'm like, okay, they got it sorted. And I'm like, yeah, like this is new for me. I'm like, and the big part of that I broke down in the team meeting on Wednesday was the fact that I've been feeling lost. I'm like, what do I do? And I said to my team, I'm like, I don't know what I'm meant to do, because all the jobs that you're doing now, I've been doing for the past 3 years, 5 years, all myself. 5 years. It'll be 5 years in July. I'm like, I don't know what to do, because everything that you're doing I used to do. I know that sounds crazy, right? Because I'm like, I can write my books and I've got all this other work to do. That's why I'm training my team. And then I'm like, what do I do? And so it's been like this shift with me in like, reality awareness is actually reality awareness. And reality awareness is actually really coming into its own now. And especially after 3 years of being in a company structure as well, like energetically it's its own thing, and I can feel that separation, and it's almost like we had a breakup in a way, and I'm starting to learn how to be in this. And now I'm like, oh, now understanding the relationship that I have with my company, and like this is huge, right? So when people like scoff at me or put me down or question, like my auntie, man, a couple of years ago, she's like, so now, like, you just have to, like, remember to put super away and stuff. And I'm, like, screwing my nose up. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I pay myself a wage every week. That's what I have to do. Like, what the? Like, how can you not, like, I don't know. Did you just think that I'm, like, 13 or something? I don't know. Seriously. So it's been really interesting, right? And then when I look back, I'm like, okay, the past 6 weeks, I've been training my team. In that time, I also lost Wuchi, which was completely unexpected. Like, I did not see that one coming. That friggin' knocked me for 6. Like, Wuchi is my chihuahua. Like, he was supposed to be here for another 4 to 6 years. And at the same time, I'd been working on collapsing timelines. And within that, Wuchi represented the vulnerable part of me. He represented all the abuse that I've been through in my life, and that no longer needed to be there. And so my heart can open now, and I can be this gentle, loving, kind person again without the hard-ass masculine trauma, the masculine shell, like protecting me from all the trauma and hurt that I've been through in my life, which made me create everything that I have so far to date, to be able to have the freedom where I can support myself. And now that that's here, it's like, well, I've been supporting myself for many years now, right? But at the same time, it's like, now I'm really like, the business is running itself, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to carry all that hurt and pain and that trauma, and I've actually got space to deal with this stuff, right? It's been really, really interesting. And so this last 9 months, like the past 6 weeks training my team, Wuchi freaking decided to leave as well. And then before that, I was like heads down, bum up for the like, it would have been like nearly 3 months, like learning all this different marketing for my business, which was so intense, and learning all these new systems, and like, oh my goodness, it was so, when I look back, I'm like, man, that was massive, right? On the portal of the 3-year mark of reality awareness, like that just blew my mind. Like I was learning all this marketing strategy, like huge. It was like going to university. Well, I've never been to university, but it was like massive for me. So I'm like recalibrating, learning this thing about how reality awareness can run by itself, basically, in a way, without me holding onto the wheel. and just like me realizing that I was learning that at the same time that was the 3-year portal, like the whole relationship just changed. Like this is massive for me, right? And so like looking at that, and then in December was when I stopped like working to the bone. That was when I stopped undercharging, like I'd really stopped, and it's been this massive recalibration ever since, right? But I didn't realize that in the recalibration there is like the separation between me and the company, like even more, which I actually really love, because what's actually happened is reality awareness is like got its own thing, and the vision and everything like that we're working on is freaking insane, right? I just like it's like the vision that I've held since 2005 when it was first given to me is now landing in reality, right? Because the company structure is there, like the financial systems are there, the investments are there, like it's all there to support the change in the world that I've always known in my heart, that is like what I've been working for my whole life. So when people scoff at me for shit, I'm like, man, you have no idea. I'll see you. Just don't even. Just don't even, right? And it's interesting when I feel like that comes up, I'm like, I'm in alignment and I'm still going, and I'm just like, this is so interesting that you're saying all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't think you really know any of it. So it's really, really interesting to me. And so, let alone that, it's just like this, separating from it. It's like a healthy relationship now. And I've been healing some deep, deep-seated bone trauma from when I was 6 years old. I didn't know it was in my system. Oh my God, if you want to hear about that story, please let me know. I did a live stream in Reality Awareness support group, I don't know, towards the end of last year. So if you'd like to hear that story, because it was really big about my bones being deformed because of the trauma, it was huge. So if you want to hear that story, because I know, and this is where I say the last 9 months, that had all started unraveling out of my bones. And if you saw on my story at the start of the week as well, I went and had like massage, but she did cupping, and then all this stuff came out again. I'm like, it's probably why on Wednesday I was like, it's like all shifting out of my heart. So comment below trauma if you want me to tag you in that post. So yeah, and then it's just been like massive, because moving into this house has been also an expansion. And house like this week, I thought I was on 150 acres here. I found out yesterday, 2 days ago, I'm actually on 250 acres. I'm like, all this expansion is like next level insane, right? Oh my goodness, so incredible. So it's really interesting. I didn't know we were going to talk about money that much, but at the same time, it is what it's about, because this is where, like, when people say things to me, I'm just like, well, like, I hope your company's got a tax file number and this better be real. And I'm like, man, are you okay today? Do you have something going on? Like, what's really going on, honey? Because it ain't about this. Tell you what. Oh my goodness. Lee says, love your expansion. You've been working so hard for so many years. Super exciting to witness. I know. Yeah, and so this separation has created all this space for me, let alone what I've been healing. And I knew that moving into this house is my healing house. Because there's all this space, all these ideas have been coming in. And that's where all these other companies and other like projects, and just that I thought reality awareness was it forever. And I see that reality awareness has like got a handle on it now, and like the vision that's expanding with that, I'm just like, and now it's over here. I'm like, I did not see this part of my life purpose. But because I've been doing this work and shifting to a company in itself and working on like the masculine healing and obviously feminine healing too, but like massive. And this is where it's not just the spiritual work and it's not just money, it's both. And they freaking go hand in hand so much. Oh my God. All right, let's have a look here. Go surfing, enjoy your free time. Yes, when there's waves, I'm there. Well, I didn't go today, but I wasn't in space today, that's for sure. But it's like, that's the radar now. The surf radar. All right. Let me just see, Sean. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alison says, I come from a Catholic family, and most beliefs are that these practices such as tarot, crystals, and Reiki are the work of the devil. I know, right? as they turn is away from God. And I don't have these beliefs, as the Bible says, to live humbly and without materialistic things. Yes. So, and it's interesting that too, right? Yeah, and you're the only one in your family who's doing the work to heal. Yes, you're not a practicing Catholic. So, with that as well, like, it's interesting, right? And we're talking about the witch hunts, because when we look at the witch hunts, it was just women like us using herbs to heal, because back then that was the only medicine. There wasn't pharmaceuticals, and actually that was probably when it started to come in the Industrial Revolution. Let's get these people under control and burn the witches who are the natural healers using herbs, because that's all they freaking had back then. And all of that patriarchal witch burning of people who were able to just know different herbs that would heal certain ailments, they were like, no, we can't have them having control, and they're dangerous. And so they created a belief system that they're the work of the devil, and kept people in this cap, I want to say this unconscious cap. It is a form of unconscious cap. Now, I'm not against religion. I'm not against people who have certain beliefs in certain religious stuff. I want to say that. I'm like, trust your intuition with what feels right for you. Like, that's what I say. But I'm just giving an energetic understanding. It does keep a cap on consciousness, I do believe. Not necessarily for you in a sense, but as a collective, it does. And when we look at who burned the witches, it always came from some religious dogma. And that religious dogma is also the backbone of pharmaceutical companies in a way from back then, and the Industrial Revolution, because we need to keep people busy and doing the work for us so that we can be in control and keep a cap on them and keep them under control. And the money that they earn working for us, they're gonna buy it back from us through buying materialistic things or buying stuff they need or keeping them sick, because then they buy the whatever. This thing, yeah? And that's why it's very hard for people to break out of the mold, and people keep trapped there, right? And people are scared because it's the devil. Collectively, consciously, deep subconscious, that's what stems from. Don't want to do that stuff. Even though that people might be like open to it these days, as a collective, that's where the lock hold comes from. Yeah, and it's interesting that the 1600s are very present, and that's why the riots and the fire stuff was happening last year, even though it was staged, whatever. Was it? Who knows? Some people say yes, some people are like, who knows? This is coming to light now. It's lifting, yeah? It's like our government now without witch burning or control. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that we're in World War III now. They're just not using bombs. This is the bomb. This is the control mechanism. Keep people in their place. Different reality. Same stuff. Yeah? Yeah. Libby says, I always feel uplifted when I give because I love seeing people happy, and that uplifts them. Yes, exactly. We have to be able to support ourselves first. So Betty says, coming from no money and now being financially free. When I was working on money, it was for myself and my kids. Now I'm financially free has allowed me to work on money, not for only for me and my outward to my family, also making it easy and taking some life pressure off them. Yes, exactly. I feel those who have come from nothing are more willing to share and give. Yes. And it's so important to sort ourselves out first, like, of course, right? But when we do start, and it's a process, right? And this is why it's been so big for me in this company structure and the change and the separation and now having a team. And I'm like, oh, like whole different energetic game, whole different ball game, whole different everything game. And I know when people fire up at me about stuff, I'm like, yep, I've just shifted. Yep, all good. Thanks for that. Thank you. Yes. so awesome, Betty. It's exactly that. Thank you so much for sharing, because it's exactly that, right? And that's the thing where we're just like, oh, we can breathe and now we can do these other things. And this is where our life purpose really starts kicking into gear in a big way, right? Doesn't mean that we're not doing our purpose when we don't have money or we're working and we're just starting, right? But it definitely, when we've got that level of freedom, we can really come into like full alignment. Yeah, big time. So Lee says, oh yeah, we said that one. Yeah, we'll get that live stream to you guys. So funny, thanks, I don't mean to be. Yes, you're so welcome, Haley. Yes, awesome. So I did pull a card there before, just to finish and finalize the Violet Flame. And actually, I was going to release a money mindset. So the biggest thing, I mean, there's lots of things that have changed me, but one of the most powerful things that I've worked with day in, day out is my mindset around money. And from working on that consistently, it has brought up so many things, right? So I do have the exact affirmations that I used to get me to where I am now. Basically, I got myself off, just as you were saying there, what was your name? Betty. Same thing, like I worked to set myself and my daughter free, right? So I took myself off the government benefits, even the one that I was entitled to when we changed to a company. I was just like, get me out of that system, right? And so there's a certain affirmations that I use, not just for that, but to build my company, to build my business, to grow everything to where I'm at now. And I feel like I need to release that to you guys. So that will be a free download that you can get. So if you want that money mindset, please comment in below money mindset. It's not set up, so give me a couple of days to get that too. Like, the affirmations are there. I kind of know them off the top of my head because I've written them out for 3 years solid. And now I know, because I was so dedicated to my mindset work, everything has shifted, and everything that's shifting now is because of that. And it's not that I've stopped doing the money mindset, but there has been a massive recalibration, and obviously all the stuff that's come up in between me working on the money mindset. So if you would like those exact affirmations that have got me to where I am now, comment money mindset below and I will get that to you. Like I said, give me a little bit, I've got to set it up so you can get that free download. But honestly, like, they have changed my life. The money mindset, the mindset training has changed my life. You want to be a really successful, it's not even about like being successful, it's like so that you can create the freedom lifestyle that you want to, from being in your intuitive empath gifts and learning and understanding boundaries and understanding how money works and how you can even create the freedom from doing something that you love and passionate about, and you do it so damn naturally. It's just who you are. Comment money mindset below. Yes, I will get that to you, because that is one thing that I just wrote out every day. I'd like get up at 5 a.m. and I would sit there and I would write with my coffee and put my music in to anchor in even more. So when I'm listening to that music, it continues to expand me in that direction. So money mindset coming right up. So I pulled the Violet Flame before. I know this is back to front, but this is the Violet Flame, and I want to read, see what intuitively jumps out at me from that, because of what we've been talking about today. This is the Lemurian deck, Beyond Lemuria. I know it's back to front for you guys, but I'm just reading it anyway. The Surrender. Check it out. That's exactly where I've been at. Take your hands off the damn wheel, Hannah. How beautiful is this card? Like, complete surrender. Like, just see that cycle, see that circle. The universe has got you. Just let go. Let go now. All right, let's have a look here. So the Violet Flame. Let's have a look. 52. Interesting. Your psychic toolkit. Recentering practices, deepening your energetic awareness, clearing your aura, healthy energetic boundaries. protection, removing trauma from your field, maintaining a high vibration, rebalancing after times of raised frequency. This is really important, and this really resonates with this. So when we are doing a lot of work, and this is where I feel like for me over the past 5 years, there's been a lot of push. And in the past 2 years, I haven't needed to push and I've not known what to do. And now it's more dropping into the surrender and this sacred circle flow, right? Rebalancing after times of raised frequency. Now, interesting when, we look at that, because when I just talked about, say, the mindset that got me to where I am now, right? And when I say mindset, it wasn't the only thing that I was doing. Like, I'm working with my mentor, I'm doing mindset work, I'm doing all the energetic practices, I work with shadow work, I do my trauma releasing stuff from trust intuition. Like, I do so much stuff, right? So don't think it's just one thing. It's always a combination of things. But that is one thing that I committed to every day, right? For 3 years, like solid, right? And I still write today, but just not those same ones, or not the thing. Like, it's, you'll see it when you get it. But rebalancing after times of raised frequency. And it's so interesting. And we have to remember that when we're doing any sort of work, whether it's focusing on money or spiritual or whatever it is, right? Changing our reality in some way, shape or form. What happens in this space is that rebalancing after times of raised frequency. So, like, for example, if you go to like a high vibe, like, I don't know, Tony Robbins thing or whatever, and everyone's like, yeah. And then you like come home and you're like, oof. Like after a couple of days, you just kind of like crash, right? Some people think that's a bad thing. But actually being in that high vibe state, like you're doing all that work and being around those people or whatever it is, right? You're like kind of, I want to say feed off the energy, but it's the energetic, like you lift it up, right? When you're around higher vibration people, you are naturally lifted up. Like you cannot stop that, right? And if you leave, and sometimes we want to leave and we do out of reaction, right? And that's why, like the $20 million example would be like, no, oh my God, how dare you? Like, it's you're just like completely shutting it down. You're like, you're out of there. It's too high a vibration, right? It's too much for you. It's like, you can't even comprehend, right? You've got all this old money trauma, probably from generational stuff, like from like them being stolen of the land. Like, you need to heal that shit or nothing's going to change in the world, because that's where it originated from. Like, come on, can we not see the bigger picture now? All right, getting sidetracked again. So important to surrender when you need to sleep more. If you've been doing a lot of work, I think like, I think it was Leah Marcel had said earlier, I'm not sure if you're still here, Leah, she said, oh my God, like after a month of doing your like clear and activate pack, she said, I didn't know so much would shift. And I'm like, this is powerful work, right? And that's a freebie, for goodness sake. Like, imagine what the paid work is like. Now, this surrender is when you do work, and then you say crash. It's not a crash. It's a recalibration. And sometimes you need to sleep more. Sometimes you need to say no to events. Sometimes you need to change your diet. Sometimes you need to do more exercise. Sometimes you need to whatever. It's a recalibration. And I feel like this is exactly what's going on now for a lot of people too at the moment. Yeah. So as we deepen our spiritual path, step out of illusionary constructs, and become self-realized, empowered beings. Life may present us with more opportunities to grow than ever before. When we explore our innate healing ability, we may experience our expanding consciousness and blissful and illuminating. Our glimpses into higher awareness can be followed by periods of intensity as we return to normal. Exactly what we just said. This is actually the violet flame, not the surrender card, right? Your sensitivity will be heightening. So it may be harder to spend times in places with frantic activity. You may feel disorientated. Who's been feeling lost lately? Who's been feeling weird? Who's been feeling out of it? Like, as a collective, we're going through a huge recalibration, right? You may have emotional ups and downs and even physical symptoms. Daily practices for recentering will allow you to drop into yourself and be present and still and away from busy mind chatter and distractions. There are so many ways to meditate, so experiment and find something that works for you. There's no way to do it wrong. Yoga, qigong, painting, walking, blah, 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 blah. Find what works for you. And this is why I've been saying, and in my live stream the other day, whenever it was, our energetic practices are more important than ever right now. Like, so important, yeah? We can learn to protect and maintain the energy we cultivate in ourselves. This is like so important, right? And this is why, you know, when people say stuff to me and like scoff at me or try and pull me down for what I've built, I'm like, you know, like it used to really upset me, and it does in the start, because we question ourselves, we doubt ourselves even though we know it's right, and we're like, but how or what, right? And this is where we get stronger, especially as we like, I want to say, actually bring our dreams into reality. Like, it takes a very structured container, like a company or something, to actually really ground your dreams into reality. Like, that's a big deal, right? Not many people do that. They're just still airy-fairy, like, yeah, the world's gonna change and we're gonna live in our hearts. And I'm like, and how is that gonna work? Like, yes, we can all just visualize it into existence, like we can, but there's some people actually taking the practical steps to actually bring that structure into reality, because there's two parts to it. There's dreaming and visioning, and then there's practicality. There's our soul, and then there's our human self that's here to anchor it in. Like, it's important, right? So maintaining energetic sovereignty will allow for heartfelt exchanges with healthy boundaries. Comes back to what I just said. As we keep our body fit and healthy, it's good to ensure that our energy field is free from anything that no longer serves us. And that's why we will purge stuff out, right? That's why when we're bringing in our dreams and, you know, visions into reality, that's a higher frequency. And when we ground that into our physical reality, stuff in our physical body needs to shift out. That's why relationships disappear. That's why things fall apart. That's why, because this higher vision is anchoring into your body. That's why you might get sick, because this little toxic thing that's been sitting here for so long that you didn't even know about, this higher frequency is like pushing that shit out, because that doesn't need to be there anymore. That lower vibration, that density does not need to be there anymore. That's why people, when they do this spiritual work, they get sick, right? And sometimes they stop. It's like, no, don't stop, keep going. Because, like, of course, rest, but don't stop spiritual work, because you're just getting started. Your higher self is anchoring in your body, and that's the vibration you need to change the world, right? So, yes. So just looking if there's anything else there. Consider your psychic toolkit. Do you have a range of accessible go-to practices for recentering, cleansing your aura, and protecting your energy? Guys, if you do not have my Clear and Activate pack, comment clear below. That is like the essential tool for empaths. You must have that, and you must be using it daily. If not, that is where you start. So comment clear below if you don't have that yet. So this feels really, really like, yeah. And then we surrender to the flow, and we really allow ourselves to, I want to say, like, we do the work, and then we surrender and let it integrate. And as I always call them, I call them reality breaks. Sometimes we need to do a chunk of spiritual work, and then we just have a break. It's not that you've stopped, but you're having a reality break, right? A reality break that enables you to just integrate the stuff you've just shifted in your body, right? Because it's not just in our mind, it's not just, you know, energetic, it actually shifts in our body, and that's why we're like, whoa, what's going on? Right? So surrender card is trust, letting go, control, free flow, receptivity, yin energy, inner knowingness, intuition, synchronistic opportunities, getting out of your way, the path of least resistance, allowing who you naturally are to flourish. That feels exactly where I'm at. Take your hands off the wheel, Hannah. You even had a dream about your car stopping, like they want you to stop. I'm like, okay, but what do I do now? What do I do now? And then so much more is like, oh my goodness, actually what dropped in at the team meeting. Actually, it's been sitting there, and then it actually really landed. So I'm really excited. So you might want to keep November free and be in Australia then, in Queensland actually. So that's really exciting what's coming up. Can't say any more other than that, so be prepared. So surrendering can be one of the hardest things to do. When we stop, all our stuff comes up, yeah? Surrender's a bit different to stopping, but at the same time it is. Like, we need to drift. We need to allow spirit to have our back. Trusting that we can achieve more by loosening our control can take great courage. Exactly what I just said, right? Sometimes the most constructive way forward is to stop forcing things into being. Letting go of control. Yeah. Oh yeah, just we were talking about that today, Tamara. This is hilarious. Oh my God. When control is released, so too is resistance. How freaking awesome. One of the biggest skills we can learn is to get out of our own way. That's what came to me from the dream. It was like, get out of your own way, Hannah, for goodness sake. Like, just stop. Stop. Oh my God. When we are in a receptive place, we are open to a world of opportunities, and the great mysteries can unveil themselves. Like, honestly, that's what I said. Like, when I've handed over everything to my team, well, not everything because I've never done. And that was the other thing that's been so frustrating for me. I'm like, okay, I just need to do these things and then I can. And then I was like, no, Hannah, like, you're never going to be done. Like, at the moment, not my desk, my entire office is a freaking chaotic mess, right? I'd be more comfortable sitting in here now after stuff I've shifted over the weekend. But it's like, I could have chosen to like clean it up tonight, even though I probably wouldn't have. I'd just be like, I'm going to bed. Or I could have live streamed. I chose the live stream. Let it go, let it go. I was just like so bad because I'm so out of tune. Do you know that that's actually been in my mind? That theme song has been in my mind again because, so you know, when I went to Victoria last year, and actually I wanted to write a blog about this, but I just haven't because I've not known what to say. And this is, oh my God, this is the other thing. I haven't been sharing anything. So hence how I'm doing a live stream about sharing the last 9 months, because I haven't shared anything, and I used to share all the time. And something that Leanne said on the last live stream the other day, it really hit my core and it really hit my heart, and I haven't been sharing. And when I shared about my tattoos, and I'd said that when my cat Panda had scratched me in 2019 and it literally like cut the tongue off, like it couldn't be any more precise, like of the line between the mouth and the tongue. Like there's a scar there. You can't really see it on the video. Oh look, you can see that line. Can't be any more precise, right? And the other one of his claws went to his eye and to the ear. It was like, so in a past life my tongue was cut out, this and like eyes burnt, like, you know, that sort of torture stuff. Anyway, when she reminded me of that, because when I got these tattoos in February, I also got the tattoo artist to just put like just fix that up. And then she, like Leanne said, she said, and you've been sharing more ever since then. And I'm like, oh my God, I have too. Like this past life trauma I've just been in for like 2 years. Oh my God, that's so bad. But I didn't know. I just didn't know why I wasn't. It was like a combination of reality awareness and I separating, like, because it was the same year, like just so much. And this is why I talk about these timeline portals for you guys, just to be conscious of, you know, for example, for me, I say the last 9 months, but when I look at the last 3 years and what reality awareness is now birthing into, like it's the 18-month birthing portal. 3 years is obviously a very big birthing portal, a whole new birthing sphere. Like in reality awareness is just running itself now. It's like, this is massive, right? So what was I talking about? Let it go. That's been in my mind because last year when I went to Victoria and when I left, when I made a decision to left and I walked out on that land and we'd watched Frozen even while I was there. And Adaya and I actually watched Frozen before we left that road trip. There was one movie we watched before because we went, we watch movies occasionally, right? And I don't know, I think it was the day before or something that we left and we watched Frozen together. And that's that theme song, like Let It Go, whatever, I can't remember the tune. But like the humming noise that she follows in that movie, it's like, whatever, right? So when we left that really torturous place, actually, this time last year, which all those memories have been surfacing for me too the past 2 weeks, and I've really been conscious of that because it was intense eclipse energies last year, like worse than this year, this April, May last year, worse energies than now, I feel personally, because there was a lot more eclipses, whereas we've only got a total lunar eclipse next week, and then that's it, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe there's another one. I'm pretty sure we've only had, I don't know. Last year we had much more in this space of time. There was like 3 or 4, or I think there was 3 actually. I think it was 3. So it was a lot more intense this time last year. And I know I've been unpicking a lot of that energy from last year now, like the last 2 weeks especially. So anyway, that theme song's been in my head because I've been kind of lost, and I'm like reality awareness, and I'm like, what do I do now? And you know, and that memory's been coming up about like when I was walking on the land this time last year, and I was just like, why did we come here? Why did I go through this much darkness? And why are we here? Why did you draw me down here? Like I was literally driving off the land and literally like crying, just going, why? Like I was in the most torturous, like hellish place, emotionally, physically, everything ever. And it was like this, like going down, I was like, why? And I was bawling my eyes out, and that theme song, like that like just came in my head, and it was just like, I just started bawling even more because I'm like, that's why I came here. I trusted my intuition. My intuition led me here. And I'm fucking covered in goosebumps as I say this. My intuition led me here, down there, down in Victoria last year. Like that, I just was crying because I'm like, that's why. I didn't know why. And I went into like the darkest point ever in my life. It was massive, like insane, crazy, like literally crazy. Let's just go on a 5-month road trip to escape lockdown and like just end up in this fucking hellhole. Like, oh my God. And it was like, I trusted my intuition. And I knew at the time I was shifting out some big, deep trauma, embedded, more than past life stuff. Yeah, that's a possibility, right? It's huge. And it was like reflecting on that to where I am now. It's not like, oh, I made it and look where I am now. It's not that. Like, it's just, I had to clear out that level of darkness that was sitting in my system that I didn't know was there. Like, you know, I know that I've shifted through some pretty deep, dark stuff in my life, but I like faced, I want to say I faced shadows real time in person that I know gave me skills and showed me how much I'd grown, because the old Hannah in that situation would have lost her, like I would have gone bonkers. And just the way that I held stuff and all of that, and look what just my hand just touched, the bottom card of the deck. So this surrender card was the bottom card, and I picked it up, and this is like new blueprints. And look what we've just been talking about, releasing trauma, walking through that much darkness, facing that level of shadows. Like that's what that did, me trusting my intuition and shifting all that out. Like literally I had to face that level of darkness to shift out of my system so that these could really embody. Like that's what that's all about. Like, oh my God, that card is so jumping out at me. Look at the energy through that card. It is insane, right? Can you guys feel that? That is amazing, actually. And when we look at the story of Frozen, like, and I knew too that I was frozen and I was in Victoria. It was freezing. My car had ice on it in the morning. Lucky I've got like a remote start that warms the car up and then like melts it. Like, oh my God, that's like the fanciest thing ever. Always wanted one of those, and I have one now thanks to my company and what I've done. And that enable us to go on the road trip in the first place. Like, you know, it was like trusting my intuition with all of these things that enabled me to do what I'm doing now, to birth reality awareness. But no one told me, no one gave me a roadmap except me trusting my intuition. Like if they'd showed me the steps and the trauma and everything that I would have gone through, the level of darkness I would have gone through, I wouldn't have done it. And that's why people are like, what's my life purpose? And I'm like, well, let's start with this. Because I don't tell people's life purpose because I don't even know, right? I do know that there's some form of consciousness awakening in some way, shape or form. Like there is for everyone's life purpose. When you really look at it, we're bringing more conscious awareness to people's emotions, to people's traumas, to people's hurt, like whatever it is. Like that's what you do in some way, shape or form. If you're an empath, if you're conscious of energy, if you do, that's what you do. Your life purpose is based in that. What it looks like and what it blossoms from there, only you can discover that and uncover that. And it begins with trusting intuition, which most people on the planet don't do because of what we've spoken about on this live stream, from like the lockdown of that energetic hold, let alone the traumas you're carrying in your body and all of that stuff. In Trust Intuition, which doors are opening very soon, that is what we uncover, because when you can completely trust your intuition, that's when you are showing your life purpose. Like I didn't know, I just trusted my intuition because I wanted to change the reality awareness to a company, and look where it's ended me up. Like now reality awareness has got its own thing. Now all these other things that I've never seen before. And this is what I kind of broke down about on Wednesday as well, because I did, like it's not overwhelming. I'm just like, how did I never even think that there was anything outside of reality awareness? Like, it's kind of like, I don't know what that is, but that was all that I focused on for like, I don't know how many years it is now, since 2005, like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow, because I know they're going to support reality awareness and all of like, just, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So when I'm like being a bit quiet, I've been processing all of this because there is so much wanting to come through. I'm just like, okay, we're getting it. We're getting there. It's like, because like I've handed stuff over, all this stuff's just going whoosh. And because the structures are there, it's like, it's ready to go. Like, oh my God. It's like the best thing ever. So Amy says goosebumps. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Loves it. Loves it. I love it. I was with you on those live streams you shared from Victoria, such deep healing. Oh my God, it was insane, right? The trauma and the frozen and the ice and the cold and the like, blah, blah, blah. Massive. So massive. Oh, you're so welcome, Catherine. Nita said she had an amazing early morning experience with deep healing. Awesome. There's a lot of that deep healing going on right now. Yes. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that Let It Go. That's been in my mind. It's been in my mind. There's another one. There's another 2 more this year. Okay. I think they're towards the end of the year, aren't they? Yeah. So yeah, just not as intense. Like last year, I feel like there was heaps. But this year it's like just not as many, but they're still there, of course. So yeah, the surrender, the violet flame, the new blueprints that are wanting to come through. That's what it's all about. It's freaking amazing. And there's a butterfly. The butterfly has been really strong for me lately as well. Butterfly in her throat, actually. How interesting, because been a lot of throat stuff going on, and heart, huge heart stuff too. So massive. So there's a lot of things coming. Trust intuition is coming, but also I've been guided to open Mystic Mastery, which is where you work with me one-on-one. So if you weren't able to join Life Purpose Accelerator, I was guided to open Mystic Mastery, which does give you a taste. Obviously, you don't get access to everything, but there is a level that you can start working with me. I've also been guided to, so Mystic Mastery, link is in the comments. So they're all a little bit different. But Mystic Mastery is where you work with me for a month. Now there's a 2-hour session we can do, or we can spread those phone calls over. I know some of my clients don't even use the calls, but some of my clients love the calls and they love spacing them out. Some people need that, you know, devoted like hour or 2, like it is a 2-hour portal session. So it really is like, what's the word? It's tailored to you really, because there's a lot of people that work very differently, right? And I do love working over Zoom like the video, because we can shift so much. So Mystic Mastery is open. The link is in the comments. I've also been guided to offer, and this came through actually on Monday, but I've just been in my like processing stuff. I'm like, okay. Some of you have already seen it. Some of you have already jumped on board of it. And that is my 30-minute psychic readings, but I actually got the message to do 33-minute psychic readings for 333. They're usually 555. That is only for 2 weeks though. So if you've been wanting to get a personal psychic reading, that would be the one to jump on. It's 333 for 33 minutes. They were very specific about that when they told me on Monday. So that's what it is. We do that over Zoom as well, so we can deep dive in there too. It's really important to me to be able to shift out what we can, because there will be something sitting there that will just dissipate very fast. And there's also Trust Intuition coming, like I said. Obviously that is where you become a certified healer and able to trust your intuition, which enables you to change the world in some way, shape or form, and contribute to the awakening the consciousness of humanity, because you wouldn't be an empath, you wouldn't be sensitive unless you had a purpose in that. Yeah. So Anita says, interesting you speak about throat stuff, but my guides removed so much stuff. Yeah, a lot of heart, a lot of back of heart, a lot of throat, and up into like the back of the skull. There's a lot of that energy shifting out at the moment. But a lot of people Yeah. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Mwah. Bye.